सो हेलो एवरीवन, बुक रीडिंग प्रैक्टिस में आपका स्वागत है। तो चलिए बुक रीडिंग स्टार्ट करते हैं। आज का टॉपिक है द लव फॉर सॉलिट्यूड। द लव फॉर सॉलिट्यूड। When W. Dyers once say, you cannot be lonely if you like the persons you're alone with. That I believe should be enough to close this part of the books. By you are reading a self-help books, so you want me to keep saying some things until you are forced to believe that solitude is good. I am not going to be it. Do you now? Why? Because that our problems. We want others to make us believe in some things. Hold over hands and show us the parts, and when people leaves us standards in the middle of the journeys, we feel lost, like it all dark and scary. What you didn't realize is what you need to walk alone to reach where you want to go. Everyone has different goals, so they cannot take the some routines as you. You will meet some good bad people on the way, but eventually they will turn the other's way to move towards their journey, and in the end you will be left alone. The choice would be yours whether you want to stay on the way and cry and scream at people so for leaving you will they enjoy and journey, or do you want to keep walking and get closer to your dreams destinations? In both cases you will be alone, but the choices of crying and seeing yourself as a helpless person or the keep walking and enjoying the journey will be in your hands. After 5th grade, I never staying in any schools for longer than 2 years. I keep switching schools until college. Being an introverted and extremely underconfident child, it was already quite thoughts for me to make friends, and when I would finally make one friend who clouds turn into my best friend, I would have to start from scratch again. I had a close friend in high school who is now married, but I had to leave her because I changed schools. Then I had another close friends in 11th 12th grade, but then it was times for me to leave my hometowns and shift to another cities for college, and then as good was creating a perfect illusions. I meet my 10 best friends who also happens to be my roommate. On the first day of college for 4-5 months, the two of us were such great friends that even professors know that we always stayed together. For the first time I feel like I had found a best friend, but then I got sick and had to come back to my hometown for 15 days. When I went back, I had already been replaced. I knew that now I no longer fit in her definitions of fun. So boldly I asked her to pick either her new friends on me. Well, you can imagine the rest. I was alone for almost 3 to 4 months back. Then I met some new people after his 4 months gaps, and long story short, they become some of the most amazing people I have ever met. I meet my girls whom I still miss. These girls made me understand that women uplifts each others and women need each others more than three need men. Society tricked was into believing that women are women's biggest enemy, but Honey, you cannot even imagine what a woman's. Can you for another woman? Now back to my points. When my college life came to an end and I came back to my hometowns, obviously we had to leave each other's. I was with my friends for a short periods, but living then feels like living a part of me. When my college life ended, I thought distance clouds not come between true friendships. This is what social media gurus say, right? The initial few months were great. My friends and I used to connect new and them to gossips about our college, remembers the stupid things we used to do and shares our general life updates. It was going well until after a few months every one of us got busy with our works and events. When we tried to take out times to have a calls, we somehow ran out of topics to talk about. Our lives, professions and environments were new different and so were our priorities. It was in those moments that loneliness started hitting me. I knew even thoughts I have say that loneliness and being alone are two different things, and I started by my towards it is also true that your heart misses people who made you feel at home. Just be theirs princess. There's stupid jokes, there's gentle touch, there's inspiring words, and there's hidden cares and love. It all makes you miss them, missing the people who you can't be with anymore and realizing that you wouldn't be able to meet the people who were a part of you creates loneliness. What I realize is that people are seasonal in everyone's life. They comes and go for good or bad. So what I meant is that we are just manipulated by all those great movies and web series on friendships and romance into believing that there is something called forever. However, when your friends or partners leaves you, you feel betrayed means जरूर बताइएगा आप लोग क्या होता है. lonely and incomplete. You and I have nourished मतलब यही कमेंट करके जरूर बताइएगा. Believes that people have to be available for us 24/7, but real life doesn't work that way. People arrest ambulances who can be available to you whenever you want. They have got their seats to deal with. They have a careers to work for, a family to nurture, goals to achieve, and a few breaths to inhale in silence and solitude. This was one of the harsh truths that I had to accept when my college life came to an end and I had to say goodbyes to my friends. Initially, I used to feel sad and lonely too, but later I realized that this is how things are going to be for the rest of our lives. This is a part of adulthood when you have to say goodbye even if you didn't want to, when you have to let go for the people to get on with your careers. That's why I say earlier that loneliness is a part of the journey. I am not saying that you have to choose between career and friendships, but it happens automatically that you wonder, how did my friendships waste from my hands? That's the bargain to making a career and living your dreams. Yes, some people are lucky enough to have both, but that seldom happens in reality and more in movies or books. One of the favorite series is Friends, but if you observes this series, all 6 friends hang out with each other all the time. They are always sitting in that coffee shops, but that's not possible in reality. You have a job, careers, studies, and a lot more things to look after. You cannot just sit around together all the time. So let's make a new belief, or rather an agreement that you will not expect people to stay forever, not because they are bad, but because they have a lot to deal with in their own lives, and that's a part of growing up. The concept of forever is just a fantasy that you have bought from some random series in our generations. Forever means following each other on social media and once in a Welsh communities on each. Other posters and keeping each other in our memory lines. That's it's others than this. If you are expecting anything from anyone, you are just preparing yourselves to get hurt. So kill your expectations of other people and realize one simple truth: you are on your own now, except for you. No one is going to stay by your side forever. So even if you are around people or you find good people in the futures like I had now, one things you cannot be depends on anyone's. You will have to create enough space in your heart of yourself so that being with yourself feels safe and loved, and being with people feels like a bonus, not a short-term pleasures or escape. So ask yourselves what you want to yourselves. If you choose to keep walking, then make one more choices, the choice of loving the persons who you are with, and that is yourselves. When you love yourselves, you will view the journey and a treat. As I say earlier, it liberating to be with yourselves. You are with just one mind, so one voice, one types of opinions and perceptions. You didn't have to take the burdens of becoming who you are, not the place people you didn't like just to fit in, just for them to hold your hands until the end. When you know you can walk alone just a fans, you will be automated to experience the simple joys of life that your soul enjoys. I hope you understand what I mean. I am not asking you to push people away. Never do that. It's hard to find people who truly loves you. All I am asking in force you to not forget yourselves in the noise of the words. The next sections of the book is based on turning solitude into an opportunity for growth, but it can only happen when you start viewing your loneliness as solitude, as a privilege, not a curse. When you are ready to walk with yourselves, let's learn to walk towards your ड्रीम्स लाइफ सेल्स भी। तो आज का रीडिंग यहीं पे ओवर होता है। वीडियो कैसा लगा तो लाइक और चैनल को सब्सक्राइब जरूर करिएगा।